5:31. I was pretty close. I was trying to make it right at 5:30 on the dot. I'm always on time, guys. It's good to be live. I really like doing these lives. I know I've only done a couple of them in the past, but it's actually very fun for me to do this. And I know it's fun for everybody who tunes in as well. So I wanted to give everybody a little bit of a heads up this time. It's like an hour and a half notice or so. Probably could have done a little better than that, but hey, better than nothing, right? That's how I see it. Give some notice, and we are live. Hey, Michael, you want to know where I got my sign? I got it at this place around the holidays last year called Neon Beach, but they make them custom, and it takes quite a while for them to come in. So you got to order it, and it takes like maybe a month or month and a half to actually get it delivered. But they are so cool. I love the color. If I like turn off all the lights in the room, it lights up the whole room. It's super cool. I love it. Hello, Kuroda. What's up, Ronnie? Oh my God, man. December weather. It feels like summer down here. No joke. Today in Miami Beach, it was 85 degrees, in December. And then up north, they're getting tornadoes in the wintertime. Unbelievable. In fact, I remember when I was living in Illinois, the year before I moved to Florida, I was working at a car dealership, and in January, we had a tornado come through the area. And I think it was actually multiple tornadoes. And it was basically like the day before was 20 degrees. The next day was like 70 degrees. And it was pretty nuts. So, yeah. I wish it was cooler down here, though, to be honest. PlayStation all the way, make a max, PS5 to be specific. Good for you, Ryan. Coming in 2 weeks. That'll be right around the corner, man. Yeah, in Clearwater, I've been checking the weather over there because I like that area a lot, and it is consistently a little bit cooler, especially this time of year. But down here, man, we don't get no relief from the heat, it seems like. Terrible. I'm ready for like 60s, I'm missing Northern California right now where every day is like 65 and sunny. It's beautiful. It's cold in Santa Cruz. Yeah. I mean, I just mentioned that, right? I know it's kind of cold right now. It's like in the 40s over there. I was checking the weather today. It is kind of cold, but it's nice if you have a fireplace or one of those outdoor pits or something. Hello, just New York. Good to see you on. So I have a couple things I want to just talk to you guys about while I'm on here. First of all, I just want to say that I really like doing these lives, and one of my goals going into next year is to maybe do more of them because I like doing them, and I don't really have an excuse for why I don't do them. I'm just not good at planning them, and it's hard to get people on if nobody knows about it. So hopefully next year, some of my goals in 2022 are going to be able to do this a little more, hang out with you guys, get to know you more. You guys get to know me more, and it'll just be fun for everyone. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you would be up for that, joining some future lives in 2022. Yeah, it's cold a lot of places in California right now, Michael. I guess, this is like the best time of year to be in Florida, to be honest. Wintertime, it doesn't get better than that. Yep, that's exactly right, Ronnie. For some reason, Tampa gets hotter than Miami in the summertime. It's just sweltering over there. I've been to Tampa a couple times in the summer, and it's like, man, there's like nowhere you can go in Florida hotter than Tampa in the summertime. But at least you guys get more of a relief in the winter than we do, because this year has been unseasonably hot. We had like a couple of nice weeks, where the nights were falling into like the upper 60s and the days were in the mid 70s, but that didn't last long. Now we got wind, humidity, even a little bit of rain. Feels more like summer here. Do I think it's still a good idea to move to Miami? I don't know. That's all personal to you, Mika. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear you're ready to do the 2022 live. RS and Ronnie. What's up, Nate? More live broadcast, please. Interactive element. I know. I'm going to try out this. I think next time I do it, I'm going to practice a little bit first so I can get the hang of it. But next time I want to try out using this software called StreamYard. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but it basically allows me to share a little bit of my screen or like put images up instead of it just being static like this and you guys are just hearing me talk and I don't get to put anything up there. So that might make the live streams a little cooler if I decide to do them more. But I don't really know how to use it. I got to check it out and see how that works. Yeah, I believe it's pretty cold in Panama. Are you talking Panama City Beach or Panama the country? Yeah, I hear you. I kind of felt like you too, Ronnie, hotter the better. But I like it, the sweet spot in the middle. Coming for fishing. We got some great fishing down here, Skull. Is South Florida getting too crowded? Yeah, maybe. I think it is, Ryan. I find myself this time of year not even going that many places just because I don't have the bandwidth to deal with the traffic. And part of the thing I like about the neighborhood I live in is I really don't need to drive around much. So that's a huge lifesaver, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I find myself not going out as much just because there's too many people here and too many cars on the road, and we just cannot handle it. This is a very small area. Anybody's ever been here before? This is a small town, guys. And when you get a million people flood into the city, it's just nuts. That's a good question, ZZ. Um, I honestly, I don't think it really impacted the collapse you're asking about. I don't think it really impacted the sales at all. Maybe in the very short term, because I did a video on that like a month later, and the sales did go down a bit because maybe people were like scared at first, but now it seems like everyone's all but forgotten about it. So I don't think it's going to impact sales down here at all. In fact, things are just getting more expensive, which is something I wanted to talk about a little bit here. Yeah, I heard that too, that interest rates should be going up in 2022. And honestly, that's something that's totally overdue. I mean, the interest rate thing is such a joke to me. They lowered it, to try and save the economy, but in the reality, guys, they're just making things so much worse. And the reason why the cost of housing is so high right now isn't because, houses are more expensive than ever. It's because the dollar is now worth less than ever. But that's a conversation for another time. Happy Wednesday, Ken. Glad to see you on here. Hello, Peter. Best regards to you too, my friend. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, I'll bet, Jennifer. I know that feeling. Yes, Jeannie's here. You did catch me live. I gave a little bit of a heads up, so I'm glad you could make it, Jeannie. By the way, I'm really happy for everybody who's putting in the chat that they are excited about moving to Florida. Fleeing California? Oh my God, Kuroda. Don't even get me started on that. I loved being there when I was there this summer, but all of the rules that these places have, especially San Francisco, like you can't even go in a restaurant without having a vaccine card now. And everywhere still requires the mask. It's just ridiculous. They're just controlling people too much. I don't know what's happening over there. I think they don't realize they're still in the US. I don't know what people are thinking, but yeah, hopefully they'll wake up one day. Maybe it'll take half the place leaving for everybody to wake up. Is St. Augustine still a go-to and highly recommend? Well, in my last video I made about the 10 best places to live in Florida, I didn't put it on the list, and that was intentional for two reasons. One, I wanted to cover new places that wasn't on the first list, as well as the fact that I don't think it's really worth it to move there anymore. Between the cost of housing in St. Augustine, just how much you have to pay for a house that was literally worth half of that a couple of years ago, as well as how crowded it's getting, the same kind of issue we're experiencing down here in Miami, I don't think it's worth it. It's really sad for me too, because it was my favorite place, that I've ever been to in Florida, and just seemed like overnight it just ballooned into this massive place. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think St. Augustine's worth it anymore. Yeah, they definitely need to fire Powell. You got that right, Ronnie. Hey, good for you, Brian. Welcome to Florida. Oh yeah, Dunedin, William. I was getting so much hate in the comments about not saying the name of that town right. I guess it's called Dunedin. It's not called Dunedin, like I said in the video. Big whoop, who cares? But whatever. Yeah, I had to wear the mask indoors everywhere too when I went to California, Michael. Pretty much everywhere I went. In fact, the only place I didn't have to wear a mask that I remember was down in Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach. That area is really cool. And I didn't have to wear a mask anywhere there. So I don't know if they're still doing that, but that was nice. I don't blame you, Jeannie. And you know what? It's going to take everybody to like work in unison on that. Like people are just going to have to resist and rebel doing it because, if enough people get sick of it, they just have to just say, I'm done. I'm not going to wear the mask no more. Honestly, that's one thing I love about being here in Florida. It's just that we don't have to abide by any of this bullshit anymore. Thank God. Yeah, I know, JJ. The prices here are just insane. And it's funny because, if it wasn't for the pandemic, the prices here in Miami were actually on the downturn. And I made a video about that a while ago, like in the early part of 2020. And, back then the prices in Miami were going down. And then, ever since the pandemic happened, then, there was all the shutdowns. But then, Florida kind of opened back up way before many other places did. Everybody just started flooding in. I think that's kind of slowing down now. Kind of everybody that was going to make the move, I think already has for the most part. So I don't think we're going to see like a huge influx anymore. But yeah, it depends on what other states do. You hear about the variants and people trying to start up these mask mandates and stuff again. It could start all over again and get people coming down here. Yeah, no worries. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Who cares? You get the hang of it. Yeah, you know what? Sketchward Homestead is an interesting place, like you can actually be very close to the Keys down there and it's very cheap to live down there. Although I would just caution you to watch out because there's a lot of bad neighborhoods in Homestead for such a rural area. So just watch out if you do move down there. Yeah, I was in Newport Beach also, Jeannie. That area is pretty cool too. Yeah, a lot of people are happy with our governor here. I know I certainly am. But I don't want to make this about politics. But you guys, one of my goals, for 2022 is doing more of these lives. And one thing I wanted to mention, just to kind of be on the goals topic for a minute, is besides that, another thing I really want to accomplish in 2022, and the timing is not so great on this, but it just is what it is I am looking to buy my own place. Lizzie and I want to, buy a place to live. Like we've been renting for a long time, and that's always been strategic, right? I talk about that in my videos that the cost for us to rent has always been cheaper than it would have been to buy. But now the tables are turning, and it's not so much the case anymore. And it's time to buy for us to actually want to be solid, and want to stay here because one of the biggest stressors for me in life is just not knowing where you're going to live. Like every year the lease is up for renewal and it's like, okay, are they going to renew the lease, and for how much? Are we going to agree on the price? And if they don't renew it, where are you going to go? Like that gets old, after many years of dealing with that. I don't want to deal with that anymore. So our goal is to either buy a place where we live now in this building. It's not ideal. I really don't care to live in a condo anymore after all these years, but Lizzie's business is here and it's very important for her to be right here in this area in order to continue, being successful with what she's doing. And I totally support her on that. And I would definitely be on board with doing that for her for a while and sticking around here. So we may either buy a place here where we live, or we might be looking to move to another area of Florida, next summer because, um, if there's nowhere to buy that's affordable, or it's only rentals available, then that's it. We're going to be out. We're going to have to find a house somewhere and just move out. So that's like a big goal coming for 2022. It's a little bit nerve wracking, but I think it's time. We're both on board with it. and just need to be ready for whatever happens. So it could be some exciting changes coming up in 2022. What do you guys got planned for 2022? I want to hear about your goals. That way I get to know what you guys are interested in and what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, I'm not too big into New Year's resolutions, but obviously this time of year you start thinking about it. So yeah, let me know. Hey, thanks guys. Congrats. Yeah, feeling settled and having like a solid place to live is like top priority, Jeannie. Top priority. I can't stress that enough. I think if I had to move right now, like without going back out there and checking things again, which no doubtedly I will do, is I would probably be looking at Clearwater or somewhere near Daytona Beach, not probably right in Daytona Beach, but somewhere near there. Um, I like that it's not that far away from St. Augustine if we want to go. The area is not that crowded still, and the traffic is not insane. And I like it because it's closer to leaving Florida for hurricanes and taking future road trips and stuff, which we definitely plan on doing. So probably somewhere in the northern half of the state actually. And I'm ready for the cooler weather. That would be my preference. I'm trying to keep up with the chat, guys, but it's coming in fast. So I'm just going with what I see first here. Yeah, home ownership's definitely the way to go. But you know what? We've been very lucky renting all these years. Like a lot of people say, oh, renting's a waste of money. But for us, it hasn't been, because guess what? We've been able to save so much money by renting that we've been able to make other investments since we rent, by saving all the extra money that we would have had to spend on owning this place. So it actually has worked out beautifully in our favor. We've been able to save the extra money that we wouldn't have normally had and be able to just get so much further ahead in life by actually renting all this time. If we would have owned this place for the past 10 years, it would have sucked all the money out of our pocket and we would have had no money for extra investments. So I don't regret the decision whatsoever, but it just sucks that the timing is coming now at all-time highs for prices. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. It's not going to be for investment. It's going to be somewhere for us to live. And I'm not too worried about the immediate short-term losses or gains on real estate prices, because I tell you guys this in my videos, if you want to move somewhere and you're going to stay there for a while, you shouldn't worry too much about where the market's at right now, because it's not going to affect you in the long run, most likely. Does make sense, doesn't it, RS? Yeah, that would be pretty cool, Ken. That would be pretty cool. I think I will do like a video tour whenever we decide, but that's far down the road. We're talking probably next like July, August, maybe September, something like that. So it's not going to happen overnight, but it's just something I wanted to mention because it's exciting stuff. Would I ever live in a beach community in Georgia, South Carolina? I don't know, Jeannie. I think that I just like Florida so much that I don't think I'm really interested in changing states. As well as I think that might be too cold, because even northern Florida is getting to the point where I don't want to be any much further north than that because it's just too cold. Yeah, it's better to come and rent, than not come at all, for sure. Yeah, you got that right, JJ. That's the funny thing that people aren't going to realize. Like everybody liked getting that, stimulus money, right? But nobody's going to like when you can't afford to buy a home anymore, which is quickly becoming the case. And I guarantee you salaries are not going to keep up because the goal of every company is to just, pay as little as possible and, take as much profit as possible. That's the definition of how companies make money. If you had to choose a place in Florida, is there anything relatively close in comparison to South County, OC, California? I don't think so, Michael. California is like a world all on its own. Nowhere here feels like a place in California, and I've been all over Florida and California at this point, so I don't think so. Yeah, I think so. We believe. I don't know what the rules are for the airlines and stuff. I haven't flown since all the pandemic things started, but I think if you're vax, you can come. But that's probably more like an airline thing. It's not a Florida rule. Hey, good for you, Robert. You're coming this summer. You're going to get the perfect welcoming to Miami, that summertime heat. Yeah, if you're certain, Ronnie, then you shouldn't worry too much about it, just, keep your pulse on the local market, look and see what's around. You'll find the right deal for yourself and don't worry too much about how much you're going to pay for it because if you keep it for a while, you should be all right. In worst case scenario, if you need to leave one day, then you can always rent it. That's another tip I would just give everybody. If you are in the same situation as me or Ronnie here in the chat, where you might need to buy a house in 2022 and something comes up in a pinch where you maybe need to move, get your job transferred, whatever, then one thing you want to do is just make sure you run the numbers on the house before you buy it and see what it goes against with the local rent prices to see if I had to leave this house, could I rent it and at least cover my expenses, maybe not make much money on it, but could you at least rent it and cover the carrying cost of the house? And if it fits that criteria, then it's probably still going to be a pretty good buy. Not a great investment, but a good place to live. Yeah, Jeannie, I think prices are going to be flattening out a little bit. I'm gonna release a video tomorrow. I filmed this like casual video yesterday talking about what I think is going to happen in the real estate market. So stay tuned for that. That video will be coming out tomorrow. But I think things are going to flatten out, and I think that the worst of these price hikes are going to be over, really, and it could end up even coming down. I kind of discussed that in that video a little bit. Uh, yeah, I don't know if Encinitas is like Key West. I mean, I've never been anywhere like Key West. To me, like Key West is a you know, totally different vibe than anywhere else I've ever been. You think I sound European, Kuroda? I've had so many comments on my accent over the years, and a lot of people think I'm Canadian. And maybe that's because Illinois is not that far away from Canada. I don't know. I don't even know how I got this accent. It's just the way I talk. You grow up somewhere, you hear people talk, you copy them. I guess that's how it goes. Hey, thank you, Robert. Hey, good for you for coming down, spend some time in Hollywood. Vero Beach is nice too. Enjoy your trip. Yeah, you got that right. The best thing about renting is the flexibility. When we need to leave, we can just go. But the problem is, and it's like, where do you go? That's the hard part. Good to see you too, Christina, my internet friend. Thank you for joining. Do I think there'll be another lockdown, Ed? Not in Florida. Not as long as DeSantis is governor, which I'm sure he'll continue to be in the future. Because I think a lot of people that live down here are very happy with how things are being ran down here, especially as it pertains to the pandemic. I'm definitely one of them. It was miserable being on lockdown for like 3 months that we had here, but we were also one of the first states that kind of opened back up, and things have not been closed down since then, and we've had different waves and all these other things they talk about. So yeah, I don't see any more lockdowns coming. Thank God. Yeah. Hey, you're welcome, Branson. I like doing the lives. If you missed it earlier, I said I plan on doing more in 2022. So I'm glad to hear you enjoy it because I enjoy it too. This is a lot of fun for me. I love reading your guys' comments. Everybody who knows my channel, I get back to people in the comments as long as you say something intelligent, you have a good question. I always answer everyone. So, but being able to do it live is a totally, it's a better experience on another level for both of us. So it's cool stuff. No, not gigging with a band, Mark. I just play for fun. I don't really have time for that, to be honest. My time right now is dedicated to YouTube. Um, So yeah, I don't really have time for a band. Maybe one day in the future, when I'm like semi-retired or whatever. But I don't see myself ever really retiring because retirement sounds boring, you know? if you don't have anything to do to work for or to, you know, to get up for every day, then, that's not fun. So yeah, I don't think so. Lockdown does suck. The thing that would suck about DeSantis becoming president, Robert, is that he wouldn't be the governor of Florida anymore. Yeah, it's pretty crowded down here, Grizzly. Miami's getting crowded. I can't speak on how long it takes to build a home. I'm not a builder, and especially now, I think the whole thing is totally a toss up. It depends on which builder you have. There's shipping delays, there's supply shortages, there's labor shortages. Building a house now is a whole nother ball game than it was a couple of years ago. Yeah, good question, Barry. Red tide's very harmful to your health. If you have asthma and you live close to the ocean and you're experiencing red tide, that can be pretty bad for you, even if you don't have asthma. So, yeah, that's not a good idea. What is my favorite restaurant in Miami Beach? That's a good question, Irina. Oh, man, what is my favorite restaurant here? Well, my favorite restaurant is actually not in Miami Beach. Um, Well, if I have to say Miami Beach, I would say Fogo de Chão, which is a Brazilian restaurant. Um, it's like a rodizio place. They bring all different kinds of meats to the table, and there's a buffet and stuff like that. But if we're not talking Miami Beach, I like Carpaccio, and that's Lizzie's favorite place to go to. So that's in Bell Harbor, right up the road. It's only like 10 minutes away. So it's pretty much like being in Miami Beach. Yeah, if you can pay cash for a house, Elaine, that's a great idea. Then you don't have to worry much about anything. No payment, just relax. Oh, yeah, if we leave, I wouldn't consider living anywhere else in Miami, Jeannie. The thing is, like, I've been all over Miami before, and I'm pretty familiar with all the areas. And one of the main reasons for me to leave Miami would to be escape the congestion and to escape the heat. So anywhere you live around here, you're still going to be dealing with those two things. And then on top of that, you don't have the beach. I've always told everyone who's ever asked me that I would never live somewhere other than the beach in Miami. And that's my personal preference because I love the beach and it gets so hot here that being able to go to the beach whenever you want is a huge convenience. And if you got to drive here, it's just not worth it. Trying to find parking and fighting the traffic and all of that, that's not for me. So yeah, if I move somewhere, it would be completely outside of Miami, at least 3 or 4 hours north for sure. Yeah, it's a chain, Michael. So they have it all over the country. It's a pretty cool restaurant, but it's really good. It's very expensive though, so we don't go too often. I'm not a huge fan of eating out. Like I cook at home almost every single night. So you know, going out to eat, especially, after the lockdowns and stuff started, just kind of isn't what it used to be. It's kind of back to normal now. You can still go to the restaurants now without the mask and all of that, but you still try to keep your distance from everybody. And whenever the restaurant's really crowded and you hear somebody coughing, and you just, try to be careful. Yes, Bell Harbor is gorgeous, George. It's so beautiful over there. Grizzly, the condo market really didn't take a hit. Might have taken a 1 month temporary hit, and it was so short lived that it doesn't even matter anymore. The prices are higher than they've ever been everywhere in Miami, including Surfside. We're at record highs here. Dade City, Jennifer. I've heard a lot of bad things about Dade City. I wouldn't be looking there. I think it's probably not a good neighborhood. Yeah, probably stay away from that. Can I do a video tour of Aventura Mall? Uh, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. That's funny, because I've been like uh kind of going through this dilemma in my mind lately of like what I want to put out because everybody knows me for the Florida videos. And like, I think some people saw like one of my recent videos and thought that I wasn't going to make any more videos on Florida, which just isn't true. But it's good to branch out. When you do things, when you do a creative effort job like this, it's important to do things that make you happy and make your viewers happy as well. But eventually you're going to lose people along the way that aren't happy with what you're doing, and it just is what it is. And I accept that. So it's cool. Whoever's interested in whatever I do next will be there, and I look forward to seeing them there. Yeah, they're not like they used to be, Jeannie. I don't really enjoy going out that much anymore. We make it a point to like go on like a date, Lizzie and I, usually once a week, and we usually go for lunch. That's our trick because first of all, it's less crowded by a lot in most places, and some places even have lunch specials. So that's cool. You can even pay less and have less of a crowd. So to me, that's a no-brainer. So we like going out for lunch. We don't really go out for dinner that much anymore. Yeah, I don't know, Barry, if there's a lot of collab opportunities and stuff like here. I don't think so, like LA is a totally different beast. A lot of YouTubers move to LA just to be in that scene, but I don't think that's really the case here. I have been to Louisiana, Samuel. I passed right through Louisiana on my road trip. We drove from Florida up to Illinois, and then we drove all the way out to the West Coast, California, and then circled back down through the south, went through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, all the way back to Florida. It's quite a trip. How do I feel about Cape Coral? Um, I think it's still a good place to go because the house prices there are still a lot cheaper than a lot of other areas in Florida. So if you're just looking at the cost of housing, sure, but I don't. I've heard from a lot of people, there's not a lot to do there. So if you're moving there for nightlife or fun, probably not a good idea. I think I've heard of that place, Christina. Winding Waters. I think I've heard of that place, the water park. Last time I went to a water park was in Tampa. That's a funny story. Me and Lizzie went to this water park one day, and you went down one of those slides like that has no light, like the tube, and you can't see anything. And when I went down that slide, I don't know what happened, but a bunch of water like flooded into my face and like almost drowned me. And afterwards, I think I hurt my back because I was like so tense thinking I was gonna drown, and they had to like haul me away on a stretcher. It's pretty embarrassing. I know Lizzie didn't like that moment. That definitely ruined the vibe for a couple of hours. What about anxiety, Ed? Oh, okay. It's a hiking and nature reserve place, Christina. Yeah, I would definitely like that then. That's definitely up my alley. I love nature. I love getting outside. I might have to check that out then. Yeah, that's a good point, T. If you're working, you're gonna have to commute. That's something a lot of people maybe don't think about. So commuting, I personally wouldn't want to commute anywhere. So thanks for bringing that up. Hey, that's a good question, just New York. So Miami Beach residents have some special perks. If you register your car with the city, you can park in all of the paid parking spots for only $1 an hour, whereas tourists have to pay $4 an hour. So that's a pretty big difference. And in North Beach, there's a lot of places you just park for free on the street. So there's a lot more free parking up here. In South Beach, it's either residential or paid. There's really nowhere to park for free. So, but at least you can, park down there for $1 an hour. That's cool. Oh yeah, George, I know exactly where you're coming from. Me and Lizzie had an experience like you're saying here in Tallahassee. We went to this beautiful state park there. We brought a picnic and it was, pretty empty. It was by a lake. It was just a beautiful day. I love doing stuff like that. I know, Genie, those dark tube slides can be dangerous. Are there any nice beach areas that don't get red tide? Well, if you're looking for the West Coast, Barry, I would be looking more of the northern part, like north of Clearwater. Typically, it seems like north of Clearwater, they really don't get red tide. I don't know why. It's more of like a South Florida thing on the west side. And then over here on the East Coast, we don't get red tide. So there's plenty of places you can go that don't have red tide. That's not an issue. But if you're gonna be looking at Southwest Florida, it's a big issue. Yeah, I would stay away from any restaurants on Ocean Drive, Grizzly, especially now. Like that whole area has just become like the ghetto scene. It's giving Miami Beach a very bad name. Yeah, I never go there anymore. Even if we have somebody in town or whatever, like we used to go there and bring like all the family and friends, like, oh, here's Ocean Drive or whatever. Not anymore. It's ghetto. It's dangerous. Sometimes people get shot. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know why the cops aren't just like tackling everybody. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think they really experience red tide in the panhandle, Ed. If they do, I've never heard of it. Yeah, Ronnie, they got hit hard with red tide in the Tampa area and Clearwater, even all the way down to the Venice area and Naples. It was pretty bad this year. And honestly, that's like the number one thing that kind of keeps me from moving to the west coast of Florida. I think I would just love it so much from like the more laid back atmosphere, having the sunsets at the beach, which is really beautiful. But if there's red tide, there's no beach. So I don't know. That might just be enough to keep me on the East Coast, unfortunately. Yeah, stay away from Ocean Drive, Christina. But there's still plenty of great places to visit here in Miami Beach that are nothing like Ocean Drive. That one little few square blocks of Miami Beach gives the whole city a bad name, and it's just not true. Like it's still a nice place to come and visit. Just stay away from that spot. Oh, yes, I do, Michael. I really miss California a lot. Like the hiking is my number one thing I love about it over there, especially in Northern California because it's much cooler there and you can go for a hike without like burning up in the heat. I just miss it so much. I think about it almost every day. Even one day I would maybe even consider moving there. I know it's like California, California. I hope that might change in the future. Or maybe I'll just spend summers there. I don't know. I just love the area so much. It's so beautiful. Hey, my sister just joined, guys. Check it out. You know it. I'm doing the live. Thanks for coming, Sarah. Good to see you on here. Oh, and by the way, you guys should give my sister a big congratulations because she is going to be getting married. She just got engaged. That is one. Yeah. The flatness of Florida definitely gets boring, Michael. I am not gonna argue that. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. After, visiting, mountain states many times, it gets very boring having only flat and just the beach. I mean, even when I go for my nighttime walks on the boardwalk, I think about all those mountain, climbs that we did and everything. It was so nice. And I just fantasize about it. I pretend I'm doing that sometimes while I'm walking the flat boardwalk. But hey, you can't have everything in life, unless you're just extremely rich. So it's the compromise we have to make. At least we got freedom here in Florida. So I'm happy about that. And I can't complain because we do live on the beach, right? How many people get to experience that in their life? So I'm grateful. Yeah, that's a good idea, T, to go to Jamaica. But although it's just as hot there, so I think I wouldn't like that. You bet, sis. Look at that. All my viewers giving you nice congratulations. We're all happy for you. So it seems like a lot of people in the chat, they said that they're planning on moving to Florida in the next year or so. And I guess you guys are the ones that still haven't came, right? Because it seems like so many people have already come. So, but I think we still got room. And there's still lots of areas in Florida that haven't really been developed yet. Not saying it's a good thing that they should just tear everything down and no more nature and develop everything. But yeah, it's not like we're full. It's just the most desirable areas and the classic places people move to like Tampa, Orlando, Miami. It's getting very crowded. Yeah, I know. It's so nice to be able to have that kind of money, right, Ed? Be able to just live wherever you want. Do I ever think any of my parents or siblings will ever move to Florida? Probably not. Um, I actually did an interview video with both of my parents, if you wanna go back and check that out, when I was in Illinois, and I that was one of the things I think I asked both of them, so I don't think anybody will ever move down here, but, if anybody watched my travel series I did around the whole state of Florida, I did an interview video with my grandfather, and he lives on the West Coast of Florida, so I do have one family member here, so but it's still pretty far away, you know, that's like a 3 or 4-hour drive, it's not exactly next door. Oh, you'll figure it out, Jennifer. No worries. I don't blame you, Christina. A lot of people are done with New York. I honestly, I would have left too. If I was there with everything that's been going on, I would have been out of there as well. So, and Delray and Boca are both very nice areas. Not quite as crowded as Miami, but it is expensive. Not as expensive as Miami, but they are both nice areas. I would definitely say check them out. Hey, thanks, Ryan. I'm glad to hear that. I'm so glad. I love when I hear comments like that I was able to help someone make their decision. That's like the best thing. I don't think Sarah's moving to Florida, Ronnie. Probably not. She told me before she likes winter. She likes Christmas in Illinois. So, we don't really get that here in Florida. If you need a good realtor, Benz, check the description of this video. Give my team a call, and we'll set you up with somebody in Orlando. Okay. Yes, that's a good point, Richard. One day I want to make it to the Sierra Nevadas for sure. In fact, we were supposed to pass through that area, but our whole road trip got altered because there was all the fires going on up there in the time period that we were coming to California. We were going to pass through Lake Tahoe originally and check out that area first. So you'd be passing right through, the Sierra Nevadas, but the whole thing was burning down, and we had to take the southern route, and we came in through LA first instead, and then went north after it was all done. Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people experience, Ed. People move here to Florida, and I made a video about that a long time ago too, that, they come here and then they think maybe their family might follow them or whatever, but you get lonely and it's harder to make friends, and they end up moving back to where they came from. Happens a lot. Uh, yeah, you can get by without Spanish in Miami Grizzly. You can. I do. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale's probably more expensive than Tampa, but maybe not for long, Ronnie. That's probably going to be changing soon because Tampa's like the number one place in Florida that people are moving to. So, considering that, I would say another year or two, Tampa's probably going to be more expensive, most likely. Thanks everybody for giving congratulations to my little sister. Yeah, I know those fires kind of definitely. We had to do everything around those fires, Jeannie, but we made it happen, and it was still fun. Yeah, definitely come back before making your move, RS. Things have changed a lot in 10 years, especially here in Miami, really everywhere, even Orlando too. So you want to come back and revisit and make sure you know what things are like now, because nothing is still the same that it used to be. That's a good question, Becky. I'm not sure if they're requiring the vax for nurses and doctors. I just listened to the Rich Dad radio show today. I don't know if anybody else listens to that. It's with Robert Kiyosaki. They had this lawyer on there, and he's like totally defending this whole vaccine mandate thing and stuff across the country, trying to, sue these governments that are basically doing that. And I've heard they said on there that some hospitals are now loosening up that restriction because they're basically losing all the people they need to run the hospital. If people don't want to do it, it's up to them, it's their choice, and I firmly believe that they should have the choice. And guess what, they're losing their employees, and they're going to have to be dropping that rule in some cases because they just don't have enough doctors and nurses. But I don't know the details on that. That's just something I heard on the Rich Dad Radio today. So that's just hearsay for me. Oh, there's plenty of places to find an apartment, Irina. Um, yeah, it's not that hard to find a place. The thing is, you need to be able to prove income. That's the biggest thing when it comes to renting. And if you have good references, you should be okay. I'm sorry to hear that, Benz. The thing is, since I'm not taking all these real estate calls and emails personally, I'm relying on other people to help me. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. To be honest, I started offering this as a service to people that watch the channel because I had a lot of people reach out to me asking me for real estate help. But anybody that's been following me for any amount of time knows that, I don't really want to work in the real estate business. I still do a few deals here and there, but it's my choice when I take the deal. I either want to do it or I don't want to do it. I don't take it because I have to. So, yeah, I'm gonna look into that, Benz. I'm sorry to hear that. The thing is, when you rely on other people, there's only so much you can do. You can't make people answer or get back to you. But if that's the case, then yeah, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, that's right. Common sense. You live in one of the areas of Florida right now that's like growing the fastest. Fort Myers, that area is like on fire. That used to be one of the quietest areas of all of South Florida. And now look at it. Like you said, there's development everywhere. But in a way, it's good just because, hopefully it will bring the cost of housing to a more reasonable rate, as well as give people more options. So I think that there has to be a balance though, right? When you build too much and then you take away too much from the environment, or you overbuild to an area where you can't actually sustain that population, that's a problem. So hopefully they're paying attention to that. If you love the beach life, Jennifer, I always recommend people to live here where I live. Obviously, there's plenty of other beach towns to live in, but the cool thing about Miami Beach is it's just a small little city. You can walk to a lot of things. You don't need your car that much. And if your beach is the main focus, you're never more than a 9-block walk to the beach, no matter where you live in Miami Beach. There's not a lot of other beach towns that can say that. And I've been to a lot of them. And to be honest, a lot of the beach towns around Florida are even more expensive than here. And, if you want to be by the beach, then I think here is probably going to be a good place for you to check out. And also, our beach here is always beautiful. That's the other thing, as long as the weather's good. Oh, yeah. People leave just as much as they come in, just New York. I actually was on the news a few weeks back talking about that. They saw my video about of telling people to avoid moving to Florida, and I was on WGN News talking about that, how so many people leave after just a couple of years of being here. No, I don't. It's not the competition that makes me not want to do it anymore, Ed. I'm just tired of it. Like, the thing is, when you're in the real estate business, first of all, you don't get paid unless you make a deal. Okay. So you're always fighting and chasing the next deal. That in itself is stressful, especially when you don't know when your next paycheck's coming. The other thing is, people are flaky, unreliable, and you can't trust anyone, not even other realtors. Other realtors will steal your clients. Clients are basically have no loyalty these days. So if you're working with any kind of buyer or renter, they can easily just disappear tomorrow after putting in 20 hours of work with them, and then they go and buy a place with somebody else. You have no idea how many times that's happened to me. I mean, Lizzie can tell you all the stories, man. Like, I was just fired up every time this happened. I just wanted to quit so many times. Okay. And then on top of that, uh, sometimes deals don't close. Even if you have everything going, it all seems like it's working out. Once you've made the deal, that's your job as the real estate agent. You've connected the buyer and the seller. The contract has been made. You try to help things go along the process with the closing. But at the end of the day, if someone changes their mind, or for whatever reason somebody can't get financing, it's done. And then all this work you just put in is for nothing. And I decided a little over 2 years ago when I started the YouTube channel, I didn't want to deal with that no more. And that was my main motivation for starting the channel because I thought I could offer a lot of value to you guys, teaching you everything that I've learned along the way when it comes to like living here and the real estate business and stuff that I've learned. And I just wanted to do this, because I even looked at it like if I make less money on YouTube than I made in real estate, but I'm happier, that's the most important thing. And I would tell anybody the same advice. So if you're not happy doing what you're doing, then don't do it. And that's pretty much where I'm at with it. But I will say, I have not quit. I still take some clients here and there, but I'm only interested in being the listing agent from now on. So, what does that mean? It means that if somebody wants to give me the listing where I'm the listing agent and I represent either the landlord or the seller of the property, I'll usually take that deal as long as it's in my area, in my neighborhood here. I'll do it most of the time, unless I'm too busy with YouTube. But like right now, I'm supposed to get a new listing this week, hopefully. Um, Actually, one of my viewers on the channel that lives here is a neighbor. So I'm going to go see him tomorrow, actually, and I may get a new listing for sale. So that's cool. And those are the kind of deals I like taking because it's a lot less pressure for me. So I'm just tired of that. I'm so much happier being here on YouTube, trying to make good videos for you guys. It's a whole new challenge, but it's a lot more fun, to be quite honest. And the pressure really isn't there like it was with real estate. And even though the income is not totally consistent, it's consistent in the sense that it comes in every month. I went months and months without ever making a single dime in real estate, and that can be tough, especially mentally. Sorry for my rant on that, but as soon as you mentioned that, I just had to get that out. Wow, that's a pretty good realtor you had there, Ryan. I would never do something like that, you see? Just from how many times I've been burned alone, if somebody called me and I'm like here in Miami, like my specialty was always Miami Beach. Like I wouldn't even drive across the bridge to go to downtown to do a deal. I just refer it to another realtor. My whole career, I've only worked here in Miami Beach. I've only done a handful of deals outside of this area the whole time I've been in real estate because it's just not worth the time to deal with the traffic and drive, 45 minutes or an hour somewhere and then nothing happens. So, you definitely a shout out to your realtor. Yeah, thanks, Jeannie. Thanks for the support, Michael, too. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yep. They back out at the last minute, Deborah. It's a very tough business to be in real estate. But don't get me wrong, some people are able to thrive at it and they make, six figures every year and they just crush it. That wasn't me. And part of it was also because I think that I didn't have the right personality for it, to do well in the real estate business. You really have to be like an ass kisser and you have to like be willing to just do whatever people want you to do, and that's just not me. And also you have to be willing to um, go to a lot of networking events and always be getting new clients like in person, right? Because that's how I think people get their best deals is like a direct connection to someone. And since I'm always been like the more like on the antisocial side, I don't really enjoy going to these fake networking events and shaking everyone's fake hand and, trying to remember everyone's name and nobody really cares. Everybody just wants their money. It's not my thing. YouTube is so much better. This is fun. I get to chat with you guys, get to talk about cool topics, get to go to the beach, get to shoot videos. It's the life, man. So I'm happy. That's a good question, Violetta. Uh, I have seen a couple of houses for sale before that say they would accept Bitcoin as payment. The problem is, I checked with our title company that we work with here at Beachfront Realty, and as of right now, there's no way that like our title company can facilitate a transaction that is paid in Bitcoin. So if you want to buy a house in Bitcoin, which I think is an excellent use of Bitcoin, by the way, and I have a video coming on Bitcoin soon, so stay tuned for that. Um, I think that's an excellent use for it, but the problem is they can't transfer clear title when you buy a house in Bitcoin right now because I don't know exactly what the legal reasons are for that. So I don't exactly know how you would buy a house with Bitcoin. It's kind of a tricky situation. So I think that's a very interesting use for it, possibly in the future. So I'm definitely curious to see how that's going to work out. Money versus happiness, it's happiness all the way, JJ. Money doesn't really mean much, man. As long as you make enough to pay your living expenses, and have a little fun in life, you really don't need more than that. I'm very simple when it comes to that kind of thing. And I did well enough in real estate. Lizzie and I made a few investments and things have worked out well. And, you know, getting rich and trying to make the most money as possible and sacrificing your happiness is never worth it, in my opinion. I'd been there, done that, would not do it again. Thank you, Common Sense. Glad to hear that. Thanks for enjoying my videos. Yeah, they have to rewrite the law. No kidding, man. I believe it, Jeannie. The funny thing about all these different crypto coins is none of them are really worth anything except for Bitcoin, but that's also another discussion for another day. Yes, the humidity is bad in North Florida too in the summertime. So yeah, you can't escape that. Anywhere you go in Florida in the summer is going to be hot. So that's that. Oh, I didn't even know that, Ronnie. If you can buy a house with gold, I never heard of that. Oh, that's pretty cool, Sid. Yeah, doing that road trip around Florida, man, is priceless. It's such an excellent experience, and everywhere in Florida is so different. Like that was one realization for me doing the road trip around Florida is like it's a very diverse state. You kind of think of it as like one place, but all these little towns and places along the way are very different from each other. Yeah, Brian. Selling is easy now too. So if you're looking to sell property right now, it's so easy to sell. But from a real estate agent's perspective, you also always want to be the listing agent because then you're guaranteed your commission unless the seller pulls the listing, which has only happened to me once actually in my whole career. But at least you're guaranteed the commission. But with buyers, you're not guaranteed anything besides a headache. Would I ever move to South America? No way. I was in Brazil once with Lizzie, and after 5 weeks there, I couldn't wait to come back to the US. There's no place like home, Ronnie. Yeah, I love North Florida too, George. What's the next road trip? Michael is asking me. Well, I don't know. Probably there isn't going to be one for a while just because, next year is going to be the focus of moving somewhere else and just, you know, trying to make sure we have our own solid place to live from now on. So probably no road trip next year, most likely. Maybe the year after that. Thank you, Jeannie. Yeah, we were happy to be able to do it too, and all the stars aligned, like the timing was perfect for us to do it. Lizzie wasn't as busy with work, and we had some really awesome friends that allowed us to stay with them for free in California, so the trip cost way less than it would have otherwise. So it was just an amazing experience, and we were super grateful for being able to do it, and the fact that everything worked out great and it was safe and just a lot of fun. So yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, sure. I'd buy a house with a pool. In fact, if I wasn't close to the beach, I would want to have a pool. Yeah, I don't care if it's like south or not. It doesn't bother me. In fact, some people in the south are some of the nicest people you ever meet. I had nothing but good experiences with that. My sister says the next road trip is back home for her wedding. Yeah, that could be a possibility. Although I hope by the time you get married, Sarah, that I can fly. But just as well as, like I said before, I'm not flying until all this garbage is finished. So I may still have to drive. We'll see. Yeah, you should take a look at North Florida, Jennifer. It's very beautiful up there. Yeah, that was another thing, Ronnie, about the danger factor in Brazil. I didn't like that at all. With how dangerous it is there, it's way too crazy, man. Like you can't walk down the street without worrying about getting shot or robbed or killed. That's not for me. No way. You should definitely do it, Sid. You should definitely do it. Yeah, that place we stayed up there in Marin was definitely beautiful, Jeannie. I love that spot. Probably one of my favorite areas in the whole country. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd stand off the airplane until it's all done. Hey, you're welcome, Mike Galio. Did I say that right? Well, Mike Galio, if you really want to work with me on a referral basis, we're going to have to do a call. Shoot me an email, go to my about section in the channel, and we can talk from there because it seems like finding people reliable has been the number one issue that we've been having. Um, because I have a partner that's helping me run this whole operation, and having reliable people is the number one issue. And I've complained about that so many times in past videos. You know, people aren't reliable here, especially real estate agents. No offense to you, I'm not saying you're not, but you know what I'm talking about being in the business. Hey, good for you, Gio. Snowbirding's the best, man. That's like the life right there. I want to do some sort of snowbirding. I'm not sure exactly how I would work that out. It'd probably be the opposite of being a snowbird. You stay in Florida in the winter and then out in the summer. No, we haven't decided yet, Irina, but I will definitely keep you guys posted on the channel. Hey, thank you, Carl. I think this is my calling too, because um, when I was younger and I moved to Miami, my goal was to get into the modeling and acting business. So, and I actually liked the few gigs that I got, but then they started giving me gigs I didn't want, and I just kind of gave up on it. And I wanted to be in business for myself, right? So basically, I just decided to get my real estate license and try something that I could get into with a low barrier to entry, and just ended up in real estate and didn't have the wherewithal to pursue it. But I'm glad that YouTube exists and I can do this now and just be me, and that you guys enjoy that. So thanks for your support, Carl. Wow, you got lucky, Ronnie. I heard that you can't get on the plane without like vaccine cards and wearing the mask and all of this, and I am not up for that. So you're very lucky, my friend. Hey, my mom's here too. Yeah, I want to come, of course. Well, she said she was going to plan it around me because she knows that I'm down here and I need to be able to get there. So I just hope it's not next year, because next year is going to be a tough year for us, having to be in limbo of where we're going to live. First time visit to Florida, number one place to go. I would have to say St. Augustine. It's just such a cool place, especially for a visitor. St. Augustine for sure. What kind of scams are in South Florida? Every single scam you can think of is existing here in South Florida, JJ, especially on Craigslist. So watch out. Yeah, I will be a summer bird, Christina. That's right. Hey, thanks for joining again, Jeannie. That's cool. No worries. That's a pretty crazy story, Rudy. That's just insane. You see, that's the reason I don't want to live in another country, man. Don't have to worry about stuff like that. Well, your brother-in-law is going to be Doing very well here in Florida, Deborah. We need more people like your brother, especially in the trades. Like I tell people, like if you're going to come to Florida and you want to start a business, the number one thing you can do is start like some kind of trade business right now, like handyman, you know, some sort of like light remodeling work where you don't need a general contractor license. Uh, maybe a painting job like that, a painting company. Like you can't get people to come out. They come out and they just say, "Oh yeah, we'll be there on Friday." They don't show up. So make sure you tell your brother-in-law that, and that needs to be his advantage of just doing what he says he's going to do, and it'll be successful. Yes, common sense. That place is beautiful. St. Augustine, still my favorite place to visit, probably in Florida, out of all the places. Hey, thank you, Ed. Glad you enjoyed those videos with my parents. That was definitely getting down deep to the core, no doubt. Yeah, if my sister allows me, maybe I will make a video about it, Jeannie. Although I don't want it to be about me, I mean, it's her day, so you bet we need reliable people here. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's gonna happen with that Surfside spot, common sense. Um, I've heard that they're probably gonna turn it into another condo. I'm sure they will. And I kind of figured that from the start. There was talk about it being a memorial, but it's like, who are we kidding? You know, they're not gonna take $100 million piece of land and turning into a memorial. That's just like a fantasy land. And there's a good argument for it too. Um, the people that obviously lost loved ones there and everything, if they turned it into a memorial, there would be no sort of payment for them or no sort of recourse. And if they sell it to a developer and build something new there, then at least people that suffered that tragedy that are still alive will give a handsome payout from it. So that's probably the right thing to do. But of course, money is always, it always rises to the top, right? Why do I think they're flaky, Christina? I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know if it's the culture here because it's like a heavy Latin influence down here, or if it's just because they're too busy and they have too much business. I'm not really sure, to be honest. After almost 14 years here, I still don't know why it's so flaky here. Does rising crime concern me? Not where I live. No, I'm not on Ocean Drive, so not really. Yeah, I'll be the videographer. It depends, Michael. You can be more to yourself or you can be more outgoing. There's something for everybody, right? So if you go to a very rural area in Florida, then people are going to be want to be more to themselves. If you go to a city with a lot of bars and clubs, then people are out to mingle. Yeah, that's a good point, T. They say yes to too many things, and then at the end they cannot deliver on their promises. That's a good point about why people are unreliable. Yeah, Deborah, hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button, guys. Please do that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Wow, that's pretty rare to get a rainstorm like that in San Diego, huh? But I guess this time of year you guys get more rain over there, right, Jeannie? Hey, Jim. Good to see you, man. I'm so glad you joined the live. I felt so bad. I was trying to reach you when I was in LA. You commented on one of my videos and told me to go to some event over there. And by the time I saw it, I couldn't go because it was like a Friday and it was already too late. But I tried to answer you and I could not get back to that comment. So good to see you on here. Yeah, I think it's the culture too, Christina. I think it's like the manana attitude, that's like the attitude of a lot of people here. It's just like, well, we'll deal with it tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. And that was a big adjustment for me moving here. I've never been like that. I'm still not. Every time I said I was going to be somewhere, even here on this live, I'm on time. Even being on time is just something that's considerate for everybody. When you're in business, if you want to be professional, you need to just be on time and do what you say you're going to do. So many people don't do it. Yeah, talk is definitely cheap. Well, the beach is waiting for you, Deb. All right, have fun with your yoga class, Christina. Thanks for coming. Yeah, landscaping, you can't go wrong with that either, too, Ryan. That's a great business to do down here in Florida. Probably another whole flaky business as well. Yeah, thank you, Jim. We did have a safe trip. It was a 10,000-mile trip. It was an unbelievable journey, but we made it safe and we enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you, Dan. Thanks for the kind wishes. Yeah, that sucks. It's like that a lot of places now, and I'm sure the pandemic has probably made that worse with, having less reliable tradesmen out there. Well, I think Zillow's getting their karma in return now, Sharon. They've had to lose a lot of money selling some of these properties they paid too much for, so their greed is backfiring. Integrity definitely matters. In fact, I think that's the thing that matters the most, and that's something that I took away from all the jobs I've ever done, and being in the real estate business and bringing that over here to YouTube. Integrity is my number one priority. Yeah, that seems to be the attitude, Bob. Good for you, Deb. Oh, I'll bet, Jeannie. I'm sure that's the number one thing that makes him successful. They get a lot of that over there by you guys too. Whew, that's a pretty big change, Carl. You go from rain to sunshine, although we get a lot of rain here in Florida. Just be ready for that. Thank you, Common Sense. Thank you. Do I have a favorite wine? Well, I have a couple of different, not really a brand, but more just like the flavor. My favorite wines are Malbec, Cabernet, Zinfandel, and I like Petit Syrah too. So those are kind of my favorites. I do this wine club now from Naked Wines, and I order a little bit of everything like that. Every couple of months, I get a case delivered, and I just get a few different things, and they really opened up my taste. Because before that, I only used to drink Cabernet, but now, you know, I'll drink all of those that I just mentioned, and they're all usually pretty great. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, guys, my goal was to come on here for about an hour. I surpassed that by like 12 minutes, and it was a fun live. So I'm going to call it quits too. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one, maybe even next week. I'm going to try to do one next week too, and try to give a little bit more of a warning before we do it. And I'll see you guys in the next live. Oh, and be sure to check out my video tomorrow. There's a video coming tomorrow about my prediction on the housing market and what I think things are going to happen, where I think things are going. So I'll see you guys soon. Take care.